Hi, I'm Telu TV. Since Ashes of Creation was a rug pull, I'm now looking for a new MMORPG. This came across me the other day, just out of the blue. I saw someone post about it and I thought I'd give it a go. What we have here is Quinfall. Quinfall was released yesterday at 2 PM. I've already put a video out about it. I'm really enjoying it so far. However, do I think it's a game that you should be buying? I'm not sure. I really do think you need to watch this video and make your own decision. I have a lot of negatives to say, and some positives. The game has a lot of depth, but I'm not sure how much depth. I'm not sure how far it goes, and if it's really worth playing. I've done about 12 hours now. I've done 2 characters, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot. But it's just missing. I don't know what it's missing, but it's missing. So we go into character customization. You've got your standard male and female gender types. There isn't any more than just the humanoid style. There's different poses, different lights. There's loads of different features here that you can play around with. I've sped this up because I'm not really sure people really want to watch a full in-depth kind of customization. You can see it all as you go. There's some cool features you can play around with. You can touch on the bone structures. There's loads of eyes options. There's vascular. There's full body changes. You can go onto different lip colours. It's your basic but standardised customization. My favourite aspects are the tattoos and the patterns which are coming up. I absolutely love those. I love playing around with tattoos in the game. Many games don't offer tattoos. And although it's covered up by armour the whole time, I still just really enjoyed playing around, trying out different things. Sometimes the character customization can seem quite scary, but in this I feel that it's pretty simplified. You know, you get to do a lot with it. I would still say it's very basic compared to others, but there's a lot that you can do simply, and I think there's an emphasis on simplicity here. It is simple. The things are there for you. It's not too complicated. So as you can see, loving my tattoos, chucking them all in, creating some scars. Always a big fan of scars in an MMORPG. Feel like you've been in combat then. Basic level of hairstyles as well. We're going to move into gameplay now, and we're going to look at what this game really is like. Now bear with me on this, because there's a lot to talk about and a lot to show. At the beginning, I'm going to show off a lot of features.
In the infinite darkness of the universe, a power rose, known as Aonisar, reigning as a solitary god. His power was boundless.
I wasn't a big fan of this voiceover cutscene style. I didn't really like it. It was very long-winded. We jump straight into the character. The weirdest thing is every time you load in facing your character like this. As you can see right now, I'm highlighting that actually this MMORPG has done one thing right. It treats you as if you've never played one before. It points everything out, it shows you where everything is, it shows you your gear area, your character stats, your spells. It's got it all, and I love that. I think that's great. This game really takes you through the basics of an MMORPG. If you've never played one before, this might be a really good starting game. Even just for a couple of days, just to really get used to combat styles, using spells, there's not too many, a simplistic but really detailed artwork as you can see. I'm running this on low, by the way. I struggled with any higher than low. I do have a bit of an older PC, so don't take that as anything to go by. I'm using a 2070 Super. So here we move on to all the different types. So what happens with skills is that you can use a sword, a shield, a spear, daggers, bow, you name it. And they all have their own kind of characteristics. I'm not going to go too deep into those. I've done that in another video. But as you can see, you have a passive, and then you have your spells. You only have 6 spells. You start off with all the weapons. You can really customize and decide the character early on. I really like that. So I decided to go crossbow. Crossbow I've not seen before. I've not used it. It was something that I really wanted to figure out. I started to look deeper into the spells. What I found is that there is a real... You pick one of either side, and it's really based on your playstyle. I ended up choosing the Hunter. The Hunter had a lot for me in terms of movement speed, like speed buffs, attack speed buffs, and I thought for myself, do you know what? This would be perfect for PvP. And if you wait till later in this video, it is perfect for PvP. I dominated that PvP scene, and I'd never had so much fun doing it. So now we get into the kind of the style. One of the things I struggled with the combat straight away is the game didn't tell me to input the arrows. So straight away, not even use the arrows. The style of the combat, basic, your standard action RPG style, really limited. You don't really dodge properly. You can't shoot and dodge. You're just picking up loot. It's not for me. When we load in, we find that we have these daily load-in rewards, I guess you would call them. I'm not sure how I feel about these still. They seem to give you XP buffs, seem to increase farming speed. They drop you legendaries. I'm not sure yet. To be honest with you, it felt a little bit like these daily rewards are to keep the player base joining every day, logging in and collecting them to make it so that the daily concurrent players looks higher than it really is. That's what it felt like. It doesn't feel like there's a necessary need to have so many buffs at the beginning of the game. I wonder if they feel there's a bit of a pacing issue. And maybe they're concerned that people are going to drop off unless they get that instant dopamine or feel that instant reward. I'm not really sure on this one. I'm not sure why they did it. I don't like it. We jump into the basic quest line. The whole way through this game, we are following this quest line. I don't know how long for. I'm level 25 on both characters, and I'm still following this quest line. It's teaching you aspects of the game. It's teaching you about where everything is, what there is to do, and I really liked that style. You start learning more in depth about what there is from an early onset. You're given stuff like pets and mounts, and I think that's great. I like that you're given a pet so early, and the pet is a great system. What happens is you get given a pet, it's fixed to your side, and it's basically a loot bot. So it just picks up loot for you. You'll see that again later in the video. I won't really emphasize it, but you basically just ends up running around doing all the looting for you. And I think that's it makes my life a bit easier. So I'm not going to complain about that feature, actually. I actually think it's a great quality of life feature. And I really enjoy just not having to run over everybody and collect all the loot. One of the things you've just seen me do is sell items. The reason I'm selling items so early is your invent clogs up so quickly in this game. We're learning the basics, and like I said, it really does take you through the basics. So at the moment, it's taking us through blacksmithing. And actually, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It's actually armor repair. So going to the blacksmith is all about armor repair. It teaches you how to repair armor. And I think for most people, that's a basic and they know how to do that. They know where to roughly look for it. But again, this really helps the new player who's never played a game like this join this game. This game is Steam Deck friendly. So I think that might be a bit of an emphasis there. You might get new non-MMORPG players looking for a game. This is a cheap one, and then joining through the Steam Deck because it is playable and never knowing what to do. So this hand-holding is brilliant. And one of the cool features in this game, specifically in Quinfall, is this road auto-run feature. You can auto-run along the main roads. So if you need to get to a certain destination further out, one of the things it doesn't really touch on is armor. It doesn't really it tells you at the very beginning where your armor is, but it doesn't touch on it at all. It's a really simple system. You get gradings on your armor. So grade 10 is better than grade 5, and it's that simplistic. Other than that, I haven't really seen much more than it's designed in specific ways. Heavy for heavy classes, light for kind of mage-like classes, and medium for physical damage / wanting to be light and roll around kind of classes. This here is the gameplay loop. And I use this very wisely, the gameplay loop, because so far, this is all I feel like I've done, is go to a POI, kill some monsters, loot some bits, and then leave. And I've just done that over and over and over. And that's the bit of the game that I'm finding really stale, is you just go to a point of interest, you kill a load of mobs, and then you leave. And I'm not sure if there's either any more of a gameplay loop than that, really. Everything I've seen so far is effectively that. One of the things the game doesn't teach you about is characters and your character customization on their stats. So right now we can see that I'm playing around with this. So I've just put all my points in strength. The game doesn't really walk your hand or hold your hand through this. It doesn't really tell you what to do. It's just, you have to kind of figure that one out yourself. And I think for someone who's played a lot of games, that's fine. It's really easy to figure that out. As you can see here, I've just doubled my damage. And I'm quite confident with this stuff, so I'm used to doing this. A new player, not so sure they'd figure that out. The combat. Having a look at the combat, what do we think? I think it's alright. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's special. But I think it's there. It feels smoothish. It's basic enough. For the art style, the combat suits, I don't think it needs to be flashy. It does what it does. It feels a little basic, though. Maybe you like that, though. That is dependent on the person. So now, we head to the main town. Once we're in the main town, we start again following a main quest line. And we're always following this quest line. I'm not sure how long for. Done about 6 hours of gameplay on both characters. And we just keep following this quest line. And that's all I know. We're introduced to the market very quickly. As you can see, they're centralized to their location. So each market is individualistic to its own town. It's not spread across the world. You have search features, buy orders, sell orders, everything you could need. We get introduced to the quest board in each town. In each town there's quest boards, and those I would call them like side quests. The more you do, the more XP bonuses you get in that town. You help the people out and you get rewards. I kind of chose some of these basic ones because I felt that they're quite easy to do. They're quite passive. One thing you have to be careful of, which I did the first time round, is I tried to grab every single quest. It didn't work out for me. I'll show you here. You only get 10 quests, sorry, and I've got 7 out of 10. And as you can imagine, you can't do them all, and you also need to keep space for the main quest line. So I think that's a bit of a shame. 10 is a very small number. We're very quickly introduced to the bank as well. The bank comes across from all characters, so this is all the loot from my other character stored in this bank. One of my big pet peeves is just how many items there are. It just gets very confusing very quickly. I always feel quite lost. One of my negatives here with the quality of life features is you cannot auto run and check the map, so you just instantly stop. Not a big fan of that. As I was just showing you, once again we're doing a standard gameplay loop. You know, go to a POI, kill, loot, leave. This is a feature that I really like, is the stats. The stats is what really changes your playstyle, how your character feels. And as you can see here, I have 24 points, 14 already in strength and 10 unused. One of the things that I figured out very early is that you can reset with no punishment. And I love that. It means that you can really play around and try different aspects. This is a big win in this game right now. You can click different buttons, you can reset, you can learn what they mean without it having any negative impact. You can see how increasing your strength increases your physical attack damage. You can see how clicking mentality gives you more mana and more mana regen. You can see how this res one gives you more regeneration or more magic damage. I love this. I think this is a huge important thing in a game. Let people trial and play. Let the trial and error come out. This felt great. And then I got to reset after learning all about it and dump the points in what I thought was best. Obviously, I thought strength was best. I think there's a real emphasis here on just being able to customize how you want. Maybe you don't want to use much mana. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't want to use many spells. Maybe you do. It allows you to do what you want, and I think that's great. Oh, no, not the dungeons. So, in my previous video, I talked about the dungeons. I am not a fan of dungeons. So here you can see you have a few choices. You can choose the options of easy, normal, hard, very hard. They each give different loot, individual, party. I chose individual because I didn't know about the party system at this time. And then you go into them. Once you're in the dungeon, you have these aspects. These are the objectives. Complete the Lost Altars, find treasure. There are treasure rooms, but you need special tiles to unlock them, and a dungeon boss. And you must ring all the bells to unlock the boss. This is the fundamentals of the dungeon system. I don't like it. I think it's a hack and slash maze run. I actually, as you'll see, just dropped out very quickly. I've done a full dungeon run twice on another character. I spent 40 minutes in one dungeon because I couldn't find one of the bells because they're just quite obscure sometimes. And yeah, like I said, it's just a hack and slash. Maybe you're into that style though. Maybe you do like a hack and slash style, and maybe this is really enjoyable for you. It wasn't so much for me. We then get introduced to housing. Housing is a bit of a weird one. I'm not sure how I feel about it. You enter this little tiny house. To be honest, I don't think this sells it at all for the start of a game. You walk into this little shit box and you basically just place down some items, and I guess effectively you're being told that housing at this point in the game is literally just to do professions. And that's fine. But I think, you know, could have done a little bit of work on them. Maybe, I think if people felt the want and desire for a house early, that would keep them sticking around for the game. This right here made me so uninterested in professions and so uninterested in housing that I thought not even going to like research it or explore this concept, because what's the point? Like, it looks completely pointless. The only thing that maybe I was interested in was looking at eventually some crafting. But again, it's just so much on the menus. It's just quite overwhelming. One of the things that I really do like about this game, though, is how in-depth the life skills is. The life skills is the gathering, processing, crafting, that sort of thing. I think there's a huge, huge point to be made here of it really gives you the in-depth information you require. You can click on something like blacksmithing and you can see all of the stuff you can craft. You can click on them and see what materials you need. You can go to the mining tab. You can see what level you can mine stuff at without having to guess. A lot of games you have to guess. That's really irritating as well. This clip, I thought I really needed to put in. I think this has been the highlight of the game for me so far, but also talks about a huge imbalance within the game. I join an arena. Arenas come up every hour. They're different types and different styles. There's one per hour. The whole server is invited to them based on your level. You can agree or not agree. You get dropped in, you have a task, and you go for it. Now, I had so much fun doing this. Honestly, I don't think I've had so much fun in PvP. That is because I crushed everybody. Like, I completely crushed everybody to the point where it was mildly unfair. Halfway through this, I ran out of arrows, bearing in mind, and I couldn't buy any more, which was a terrible quality of life issue. So I came in with like 300 arrows. So I don't want to know what would happen if I'd had a full stack of arrows, because I'll tell you what, I rinsed everyone, and it was brutal. I think this would make me quit. This would have made me quit if I was the other team. That's how bad it was. I'm just so OP. Like, I'm literally I'm shooting so fast and I'm chunking people. I'm not even really using spells. I think that was the thing that really shocked me, is I wasn't even using spells. So this class is completely busted. The hunter is completely broken. This crossbow is too quick. The damage output is too high. As you can see here, 36 kills, 2 deaths. And that, annoyingly, I ran out of arrows. Annoyingly, I did run out of arrows. We quickly move on to farming. We're going to touch on all the gatherables now. We're going to get through this pretty quick. I didn't like farming at all. I don't see a point in it. I don't really understand it. The game didn't teach me anything about it. Not my thing. You place down some vegetables. They take 7 hours to grow because of a daily boost that I have, which I think is mental. Like, I might as well go play RuneScape at that point because I might as well just do farming on RuneScape and it's more enjoyable and has more of a benefit. You've got wood cutting. Again, just collect wood. It doesn't seem to feel that beneficial. You got gathering, wasn't really sure. Like, the game says gather these things and then doesn't tell you what to do with them. I didn't like that. And then it basically says go mine a rock. So I went and mined a rock. And again, like, there was no... It didn't say to you like, oh, once you've done this, you know, we're going to go process it and it'll feel worthwhile. None of that. It was a real poor introduction into the skills. I didn't like it. You end up having to just, I think you're going to have to learn the hard way, and that's fine, but new people might not enjoy that. I think that'll put a lot of people off the game. So, let's summarize all of this. Let's talk about everything that we've seen. Let's make some decisions. I'm going to help you guys get informed on what else there is that we haven't seen in the basic start of the game, and let's just figure it out. Is this game worth buying? That's the question we're all asking ourselves. I've bought it. I've done about 12 hours in it. I'm going to keep playing it. There's some systems that I'm really interested in. What's the things I like? I like this tab system. I love seeing all of this stuff. I like the character system. I like how I can change at any point. I can specify in any ways. I don't like the inventory system. There's too many items, too much to collect, too much to gather. It stresses me out. Skills, I'm a big fan of skills. 6 skills, nice and simple. Keep it light, keep it easy. I'm cool with that. Life skills, great system. I'm really enjoying this system. I think that, you know, you can look into something quite in depth. I don't think the game explains it very well, though, and I think that's frustrating. There are a lot of items to figure out as well. I'm not sure how I feel about that either. And there's a lot here that the game doesn't teach you about. Pirating, sea merchants. There's loads of things I don't know. The clan system. This is something that's interested me and my friends. Making a clan, doing PvP and PvE events, leveling it up, and having a leaderboard. That might keep people interested. That competitive nature. Pets. I like the pet system, actually, funnily enough. I like that it just runs around collecting the loot for me so I don't have to. I'm cool with that. Mounts, not too sure about the mounts at the moment. All I've seen is the horse, so I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet. Ships, I've had one ship. I haven't talked about it in this video. I don't even think it's worth it. There needs to be a lot more explanation on ships because I have no idea. The housing, that was a real letdown. Let's be honest, that was awful. The farming, again, like, I'm not really sure and seeing the benefit of it right now. Maybe late game there's some real benefits to farming. I'm not feeling it. There's this whole other system the game hasn't taught me about. Altars, no idea what they do. Building, there's a building? Like, that might be really cool. Why haven't we talked about this yet? I'm 6 hours in and I've not seen building. This needs to be talked about earlier. There looks like there's this real prominent building with your clan. The central market. It's a nice system. It's simple. It works. I haven't got any complaints there. The world map. It's good. It's a bit laggy. It's a bit janky. It looks vast. I'm not sure if it is or isn't. I haven't ridden very far. We'll just have to find out with that one and see what it feels like. We've got these action coins. No idea what these are. None of this really makes any sense. It looks like you can buy stuff as like rewards from doing things in the game. Again, not explained to you. I feel the game really lacks explaining things to you. There's leaderboards. I think this is great. You can see different people's levels. You've got PvE points, PvP points, game time. Like, you know, you can really get a feel. People can be competitive. People love to be competitive. I think there's a real emphasis on this. There's people that have already put 22 hours into the game, so surely it can't be that bad if people are no-lifing it. You know, there's a kill leadership board. Again, I feel like if you're not there early, it's not worth it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe if you play enough, it is worth it. You've got clan levels. You've got all sorts. There's also a profession system where you can track people's ratings on professions, which I think is interesting because that's very like RuneScape-esque, where you can see who's got the highest, you know, wood cutting or carpeting, you know. And I wonder if people are racing to world first. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't think there's any point to. The game doesn't seem big enough to mean that much. We've got customization items. One of the things that I did talk about in my previous video is how cool I think this stuff is. It's quite expensive. You know, we're talking $10 to get 2 items sometimes. This is all on sale. So a lot of these items are $10, $15, $20. Like, it's just a basic, it's just a standard cash grab shop. You know, put all the best looking stuff behind the money. And, well, considering the game is £8.50 at the moment, or $10 or €9, that's fine. Like, it's such a cheap price to play a game with no subscription fee. I don't mind that. There's a bit of controversy around these. People are saying this is pay to win. I think this isn't pay to win. I think this system is really just about closing the gap on hardcore players versus non-hardcore players who work a lot. Again, it's a pointless argument. It doesn't matter. It's a 15% XP boost. It's not that deep. You level so quickly anyway. There's all sorts of different things in this shop. I don't know what all of them do. And that's fine. That's a standard in a really low price game, is, you know, just, that's it. The prices here, you can see, you know, 2 items $10 at the moment, but eventually all the items will be $10 roughly after the 50% sale. That's a bit disappointing. It's quite a lot just for like a skin. Dungeons, I'm not going to really talk much more on dungeons. Not a big fan of dungeons. I don't think that this system works. I hate it, personally. Well, boss, I would love to just, when you start, even a few hours in, or even like an hour in, just say, hey, we're going to put you into a well boss. Imagine fighting a well boss on your first go. That'd be amazing. We've got the arena system, as we saw. I love the arena system. I'm not going to moan about that only because I dominated it, but again, I just wished I could do arena all the time, but it's every hour, and that's a real shame, because if you miss it, then you can't do arena for another hour, and I don't like that concept. I think you should just be able to queue up for arena at any level whenever you want and be put in with your level group. That's one of the things that I think I'm really feeling at the moment, is the game holds your hand but doesn't make it feel special. There was a real opportunity for it to feel special, and I really struggled with that. I at times thought, what am I doing? I'm doing the same game loop. But then I kept playing. That's the weird thing. I can't tell you why. I just kept playing, even though I hate a lot of the game. That's bad. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't have such a strong opinion. I don't like much of this game. It's a bit boring. It's a bit simplistic. It's not very challenging. I'm literally the most overpowered class, it feels. But every class feels overpowered. When I played the Vanguard, I was dominating in dungeons. You know, when I play this Hunter with the dual crossbow, I'm dominating in PvP and dungeons. I don't know if I actually will carry on playing much after this. I'm going to try it with some friends. I'm going to see what I think. I'm going to give it a bit further, go a bit deeper, explore a few more systems, see if it has something to offer later on down the line. But I don't feel captured. I just feel like the gameplay loop is go to a POI, kill something, leave. Go to a POI, kill something, leave. Wait for arena, dominate arena, leave. And I actually, the way the game feels right now, I wouldn't play a tank or a healer if they're actually the sort of classes that they show off to be, because they would just feel so boring. Like, it just feels like you can absolutely dominate with just pure damage, so it feels like there isn't really much of a need for them. So there isn't that element of like, let's group up, party up, raid up. I don't feel that yet. You know, like the solo dungeon concept, I think it's a terrible idea. You're just basically saying, yeah, go play on your own in a massively multi-online role-playing game. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you say that to someone? Like, maybe people want that, but go play an action role-playing game that's got way more skills, way more in-depth stuff, is offline if you're going to be like that. Like, so I feel like the reason people play these games is to play with people. One of the things that they do is they cap you at level 25. So you cannot join the global chats for 25. And so, okay, yeah, that's a few hours in, don't get me wrong. But, like, if you're on your own, you can't even really easily join a guild until 25. And, you know, one of the things that I loved in Ashes of Creation and World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 is early on joining a guild and start making friends and talking about what you're going to do versus what they're going to do. I feel like this game is just throwing you through it. Just get it all done. Complete this section. Complete that section. Here's dungeons. Go through it. Here's pets. Here's mounts. Even though I'm not going to say anything about them. Here's life skills. Even though I'm going to make you do them once. Like other games, there's a real emphasis on like, you know, this is the life skill. This is the processing. That's all missing. And oh God, I just feel like, I don't know. It's... The more I talk about it, the less I want to play it. There you go. There's your answer. Watch this before you buy it. I tell you what, probably don't buy it. It will kill some time for a tenner. It will kill some time. But yeah, I think as an honest review, right now in its current state, with the current systems, the storytelling, etc., it's just not for me. And I'm still going to play for a bit because I've got nothing else to play. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a like and a subscribe. I think what I'm going to do is start looking for the next MMORPG I'm going to play. Give me some suggestions in the comments. Maybe I could pick up an old game like World of Warcraft. Maybe I could try out some stuff like Guild Wars 2 again. I haven't played that in donkey's years. Old school RuneScape I've done enough of, so please don't recommend that one. But then again, if you want to see me play some old school RuneScape, then I'll bloody do it for the views. So I'm here for you guys as much as you're here for me. So thank you so much if you got all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm a new content creator, so I'm just getting into the kind of the swing of this all. So it's going to feel janky. It's not going to feel polished like other creators, but I'm okay with that, and I hope you guys are. Have a lovely weekend. Peace out. Don't buy the game.